What an absolutely wild night of NFL football we witnessed as the Dallas Cowboys faced off against their longtime rivals, the New York Giants, in a game that will be talked about for weeks to come. This wasn't just your average Sunday matchup, it was a clash filled with emotion, drama, and a roller coaster of momentum swings that left fans on the edge of their seats until the final overtime seconds. The Cowboys ultimately emerged victorious in a thrilling overtime battle with a final score of 34-27, but the story behind this win is far from simple and certainly far from clean. While Dallas's offense shone brightly and executed with precision when it mattered most, their defense suffered a major collapse that exposed serious vulnerabilities. To understand the full scope of this game, we have to rewind to the very beginning, where both teams came into this NFC East showdown with a ton on the line. The Cowboys, a team with high expectations but a somewhat shaky start to the season, were desperate to assert themselves as serious playoff contenders. The Giants, on the other hand, were looking to prove that their young roster and gritty mindset could overcome the odds and upset their division foes. From the opening kickoff, it was clear this was going to be a physical, intense battle. The Giants came out aggressive and focused, catching the Cowboys' defense off guard with a series of quick, well-designed plays that allowed their quarterback Daniel Jones to find rhythm early. Jones demonstrated excellent pocket presence and accuracy, connecting on several key throws that sliced through Dallas's secondary. One particular moment that stood out was a stunning 40-yard deep pass to Sterling Shepard that immediately put the Cowboys on their heels and energized the Giants' sideline. The defensive front for Dallas struggled to generate pressure, allowing Jones far too much time to scan the field and find open targets. This early inability to disrupt the Giants' passing game set the tone for the first half as New York built a 14-7 lead with relative ease. The Cowboys' secondary appeared disorganized, miscommunicating assignments and failing to properly cover receivers, which translated into several big gains and a boost in Giants' momentum. The run defense was also less stout than expected, as the Giants found room to run between the tackles, forcing Dallas to play catch-up early. However, the second half told a different story. The Cowboys' offense began to click, and their stars started to shine. Dak Prescott, showing veteran leadership and poise, took control of the game with his sharp decision-making and accurate throws. Mixing in a balanced attack that included Ezekiel Elliott's bruising runs and well-timed passes to dynamic receivers like CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup, Dallas managed to close the gap and eventually tie the game. Prescott's connection to Lamb on a crucial 25-yard touchdown in the third quarter was a turning point that rallied the Cowboys fans and seemed to inject new energy into the team. Despite the offense's improvement, the defense's woes continued. The Giants kept finding ways to move the chains, exploiting soft spots in coverage and breaking through on critical third downs. The fourth quarter became a back-and-forth showdown where neither team could fully establish dominance. The Giants relied on their reliable kicker, Graham Gano, who nailed 2 clutch field goals, while the Cowboys answered with both a touchdown and a field goal to even the score and force overtime at 27-27. The intensity ramped up as overtime began, and this is where the Cowboys' offense truly seized the moment. Dak Prescott in the pocket showed incredible composure, completing 3 consecutive passes that methodically moved the chains and set up the game-winning field goal. This sequence was textbook offensive execution with smart play calling, crisp routes, and timely catches that left the Giants scrambling. However, while the offense was thriving, the Cowboys' defense again showed signs of collapse. Despite having fresh legs and an opportunity to shut down the Giants' offense, the Dallas defense failed to contain Daniel Jones, who methodically drove his team down the field by exploiting coverage breakdowns and missed tackles. This exposed a glaring issue that could haunt the Cowboys later in the season. Their defense is far from the cohesive, dominant unit needed to contend for a championship. Dallas allowed over 400 yards of total offense, including nearly 300 through the air, which is unacceptable for a team with playoff aspirations. There were multiple moments on the field where confusion was evident, with defenders out of position, poor communication on switches, and an inability to close out receivers. Tackling was, also inconsistent. giving the Giants second chances and extending drives that should have been cut short. This defensive collapse, despite the overtime win, left many fans and analysts scratching their heads. How can a team expect to go deep in the playoffs if their defense can't make critical stops in crunch time? This is a question that Dallas's coaching staff will have to address immediately if they want to sustain this success. On the offensive side, the Cowboys demonstrated why they remain one of the most exciting and dangerous units in the league. Dak Prescott's leadership was key. His ability to remain calm under pressure, avoid mistakes, and make accurate throws gave Dallas the edge when it mattered most. Ezekiel Elliott ran with determination, breaking tackles and finding key yards in crucial moments, proving he's still a vital piece of the puzzle. The receiving corps, led by CeeDee Lamb, made several highlight reel catches that not only boosted the scoreboard, but also lifted team morale. This offensive firepower is Dallas's greatest strength, and it's what will carry them forward if they can shore up the defensive holes. Beyond the X's and O's, the emotional roller coaster of this game was something to behold. The crowd was electric from the start, with fans on both sides fully invested in every play. The tension, the excitement, the heartbreak, all of it was magnified in this intense rivalry game. Social media exploded with reactions from Cowboys fans celebrating the victory as a statement win to Giants supporters expressing frustration but also pride in their team's fight. Memes, hot takes, and passionate debates flooded platforms, proving once again that football is about more than just the game. Like, it's about passion, loyalty, and community. As we look ahead, this game serves as a critical moment for both teams. For Dallas, it's a warning sign that despite a high-powered offense, their defensive struggles could be a major obstacle to playoff success. The coaching staff and players will need to regroup, review film, and make necessary adjustments to avoid similar collapses in the future. For the Giants, this loss, while painful, showcased their potential. Their offense showed flashes of brilliance, and with a little more consistency and improvement on defense, they could become real contenders in the NFC East. The future of this rivalry remains fierce and unpredictable, and fans should expect more hard-fought battles in the weeks and months ahead. Ultimately, this game was a microcosm of everything that makes the NFL so captivating. Raw talent, dramatic momentum swings, unexpected outcomes, and the unrelenting will to win. The Cowboys may have walked away with the win, but the story isn't finished. Their defense's collapse is a glaring flaw that demands attention if they want to avoid heartbreak later in the season. The Giants, though defeated, proved they can compete and challenge the established order. For fans of both teams, this game was a thrilling reminder of why we watch football. For the excitement, the passion, and the unpredictability of every snap. As the season progresses, all eyes will be on Dallas to see if they can harness their offensive prowess while fixing their defensive mistakes. The Giants will look to build on their resilience and continue fighting for their place at the top of the division. One thing is for sure, the NFC East is wide open, and this classic Cowboys-Giants matchup has only added fuel to the fire. So for all the fans watching at home, stay tuned, because this NFL season is just heating up, and if last night's game is any indication,